Well, hello everybody. It's been a long time. How are you? I'm fine. I thought I would show you how to make a vegan crockpot lasagna today. Just a very quick, informal video on how to make a really bomb lasagna. You're going to need a few things to make this lasagna. It's a little bit involved, but I swear it's worth it. You're going to need some potatoes. This is going to make the cheese sauce. You're going to need an onion. You can see I've already kind of started on the onion. You're going to need some soaked cashews. Now, I highly recommend soaking these overnight. There's really not a good alternative to making your cashews creamy than just like soaking them overnight. And when I put them in there, they're about half this size, so they've swelled up a lot. You're going to want some like vegetables to put in your lasagna, and you can pretty much put whatever vegetables you want. I highly recommend using eggplant, squash, minced up carrots is what I'm going to do. Spinach is always good. I have some split peas here soaking because I find that they tend to take longer to cook, and so soaking them kind of helps them out a little bit. And I'm also going to put lentils to act as our ground beef. And lentils have a really great meaty flavor and texture, so I always put that in my spaghetti sauce. You're also going to need some spices. I've got some crushed red pepper here. If you like your sauce spicy, then this is definitely what you want to use. I've got some garlic salt in case I feel like using that. I have some basil, some parsley, and some oregano. I also have fresh bagels. Okay, I also have fresh basil outside, but I don't really feel like going and cutting up the basil right now, so I think I'm just going to use this dried stuff. The other thing that you're probably going to want, and I suppose this is optional because not everybody has it, but I highly recommend it, nutritional yeast. This is really going to help with that cheesy flavor, and it's just awesome. I got mine in bulk on Amazon for a really good price, so if you don't have nutritional yeast, just order it online, seriously. You're going to also need a can or a bottle or a jar or whatever it comes in of spaghetti sauce. This is traditional spaghetti sauce, accidentally vegan. I just got it at Aldi. And you'll probably want a can of diced tomatoes too. What I do is I take this and I season it up and, you know, add onions and veggies to it and stuff, and then I'll add it to this, and it kind of makes almost a double batch. And I can also alter the flavor a little bit to my individual taste. And then, of course, lasagna noodles. You don't need to get specifically oven-ready lasagna noodles for the crock-pot lasagna, but if you are using this recipe and going to use it in the oven, then you're going to probably want some oven-ready lasagna noodles. These are whole grain, so it kind of goes without saying that you're going to need a crock-pot. You're also going to need a blender just to help you make your cheese sauce. You can use a food processor as well, but this is what I have. It's wet because I just washed it, but yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I've got two potatoes here, one decent sized potato and one slightly smaller potato, and I think I'm probably going to use this whole potato and about half of this one. And then I'm going to add the cashews. And I forgot to mention, you'll also need some nut milk or some kind of plant-based milk. I have soy milk, so that's what I'm going to use. That is technically optional. You can use water, but I think it really adds to the creaminess if you're able to use plant milk. So I've diced up my potatoes into relatively small pieces so that they cook faster, and I've put them in some water, and I am going to boil the crap out of them until they are very, very soft. And once they're very, very soft, I will add them to the blender. While this is heating up, I'm going to take my cashews, and I'm actually going to put them in the microwave for a bit, just so that they get a little bit softer. I'll put them in for probably 1 to 2 minutes, and hopefully that helps them get a bit creamy. So our cashews are looking pretty steamy, and our potatoes are well underway. So while our cheese sauce is kind of cooking, I'm going to start with prep for the actual spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce, whatever. I'm going to mince up this and a carrot or two, and I'm going to put it in this pot and start frying it up, and we can start with our sauce. I chopped up about a little less than 3/4 of that onion because it was kind of a big onion, and I put that in here, and I also minced up one medium-sized carrot and one little carrot, and I put that in here. I find carrot kind of helps with adding a bit of sweetness and just kind of adding some more vegetables without like noticing that you're eating a whole lot more vegetables if you mince it up. And then I also decided that I wanted some garlic in here, so I minced up just 2 little regular sized cloves of garlic, and that is in here too. Meanwhile, our potatoes look pretty much done. They're completely, yeah, they're totally soft. I did not peel them, but if you are making this dish to like impress people, I would recommend that you peel these potatoes. It just kind of makes the sauce have a better mouthfeel if you don't have skins in them, but I'm lazy and I don't wanna, so I didn't. While that just kind of the water evaporates, I'm gonna go ahead and add some oil to this pot, just whatever oil of your choice. I'm going to add olive oil since we are making Italian food, and I'm gonna let that start frying up. See, it's September, so I had to use my Halloween spatula. It's fall time now. I have added my potatoes and cashews to the blender. I'm going to go ahead and let it cool down a little bit before I start it and before I add some plant milk. The other thing I like to add in here is just a bit of flour, just so when it bakes, I don't know, just kind of tastes more solid. But that's completely optional, and I may not even add it, so we'll just see how I feel. That wonderfully satisfying sizzling that you're hearing, is coming from my pre-sauce vegetables, and it just smells so good. Oh my gosh, frying onions is like one of the best smells in the world. In the meantime, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking my lentils and my peas. So I'm going to add my peas with the water into this pot. And then I'm also going to add a heaping 1/4 cup of lentils into this pot and 1 cup of water. And I'm going to simmer it on low for like 40 minutes. And when it's done, I'll add it into this pot. Lentils and split peas about to be cooked up. I added just slightly more than a 1/4 cup. These are starting to get really caramelized, so I'm going to add the can of diced tomatoes. At this point, you're going to want to add whatever seasonings you've decided you want. Other flavors I add, so I add quite a bit of those. A bit of oregano, not as much as the parsley, and even less basil. Basil's just not my favorite. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of crushed pepper. Not too much. I don't actually want it to be spicy. I just want there to be, I don't know, a little something extra. And the longer that this cooks, the more that these diced tomatoes are going to break down, and the more that the flavors are going to all meld together, and the more delicious that it will be in the end. So the earlier you can make this, the better. And you can prep the night before. It's just that yesterday me was lazy, and so today me now has to suffer the consequences. Now that I have seasoned it to taste, it is time to add my pasta sauce or whatever you bought. I'm going to mix that around. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the jar and swish it around just so that I don't waste anything, because I'm very cheap. I'm going to add a bit of sugar to my pasta sauce. I think that it helps cut the acidity and round out the flavor a little bit. I'm only going to add maybe like a tablespoon. Oh, that was more than a tablespoon. But no, it wasn't. I don't know. Let me know if you think that was about a tablespoon. And then if I feel like it's still too acidic, then I'll add a little bit more. You know, you can always add more, but you can't take away. Okay, my sauce is all prepped, and really the only thing that's left is my cheesy sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of my plant milk, finally. And this stuff is expensive, so I'm only going to add a touch. And then if I feel like I need it, I'll add more. And I'm also going to add plenty of nutritional yeast. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Alright, now all that's left is to blend away, do a quick taste test, add some salt, see if I like the flavor or not, and then if I want to, I can add some flour. Wow, okay, I have a ton of cheese sauce, and it's really delicious. What I did end up adding was salt to taste, a teensy bit more nutritional yeast because I felt like it needed to taste a bit cheesier. I did add a couple of tablespoons or so of flour just to like round out the flavor, and I added about a quarter cup more liquid just in the form of water, but you could add milk if you want it to be richer. Really, this is kind of it for a while. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit, and all of this just kind of has to cook, and when it's finished cooking, we'll be able to begin layering it in our crock pot. And when it's done, it's going to be amazing. Okay, everybody, this is the moment of truth. This is the fun part, where we get to layer our delicious lasagna. So I didn't film this part, but I dumped the lentils and the split peas into the sauce, and I just let it cook for maybe like 10 minutes more. And the sauce looks good. It looks like it has meat in it, but it doesn't. And we're going to go ahead and start layering it. So the first thing that you have to do is get some sauce and just put it on the bottom so that there is some moisture for the noodles. So now you can see I've got a good base here. There's plenty of sauce, so I'm going to go ahead and add these whole wheat lasagna noodles. I don't have to cook them beforehand because they're going to be in here for a long time. Now these are really skinny, so I'm going to have to kind of make them work for me by breaking them. So for the first layer, I'm going to be doing a sauce, and then I'm going to put some sun-dried tomatoes. I forgot that I had sun-dried tomatoes in the fridge. So here I have some chopped up sun-dried tomatoes, and I thought that that would just be a really nice little layer in there. So I'm just going to do sauce, sun-dried tomatoes, cheese, and then we're going to start over again, and that's when we'll start layering in the spinach. Alright guys, here's my fully layered lasagna. It is absolutely enormous. I used an entire box of lasagna noodles. I used all of the spinach that I had. All of our sauce is gone. All of our cheese sauce is gone. It's insane. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to top this off with some nutritional yeast on top, and then I'm going to let it cook on low for 4 hours. I highly recommend this part. This is probably going to feed us for a while. So it's been a couple of hours. This lasagna is looking like this. You can see that the cheese has really thickened up. Honestly, because we don't have any meat in it and we cooked the vegetables beforehand, this could probably be eaten now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on warm just because my crock pot is crazy hot. So I'm going to keep it on warm, and I'm just going to let it cook the rest of the way on the warm setting. You guys, it's finished. It's finished, and it's beautiful. It's everything I want. Oh my god, it's so good. What I like about this recipe is it's a plus and a minus, is that you have to put it in the crock pot for a couple of hours. And I think that that's really great because I can do the prep work ahead of time, throw it all in there, and then I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to watch it. I don't have to pull it out of the oven. I don't have to worry about reheating it later. It just stays in the crock pot. So I think this is a great recipe for when you're entertaining, because you can just prep the day before, layer on that day, and then just leave it in the crock pot, and then you don't have to worry about it. Let me know in the comments if you try something like this, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.